A little birdie told me that you like painting. I mean, that's why you tuned in, right? Well, in this video, we'll go over the process of how I created this painting of a kingfisher. And the entire process was about 3 hours. I had a lot of fun in exploring this beautiful little subject, and I hope I can encourage you to do the same. Find a nice reference picture and start painting. Let's dive right in. So I have my iPad just off screen here on the same size as this panel is, and I've put some dots on there, same as the grid on my iPad. So the focal point of the bird, of course, is in this area, so there I put some more grid marks than on this side. Here the bigger gist is fine. I like to start with some colors on my palette before I actually start painting to mix them already. So let's start with the body of the bird. For that I would take first a base of burnt sienna, mix that with some yellow ochre. That's actually a quite good color for the darkest parts near the paws. And then I'm gonna add some of this red. Not that light, so I'm gonna add some of that yellow ochre to it to kill it down a bit. I'm also adding some permanent yellow to my palette to lighten it a bit more, until you have a variety of oranges on there. We have some oranges, we also need some blues. This is the phthalo blue, and actually that already looks like a quite nice match for the colors, but I'm also gonna make a bit lighter version. And then a mixture between ultramarine and that one for the darker colors. A touch of black to neutralize it a bit. I'll use a quite soft brush. I will not start with these because they're very intense. I'll start with these first. And actually I'm gonna wet my brush slightly and take some of the burnt sienna and start with the branch, just to jot down some shadow. And that brings me also to the need for another color for the branch itself. We have this bit grayish color, so I'm taking burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, mixing those to get a near black, and then adding some white to that. And I'm not fully loading my brush. And it's okay to leave some air in between your marks as well, because that enhances actually the feeling I feel for these feathers. Please note this is the first time I'm painting a bird, so for me it's also a discovery, but that's what makes it fun. Still keeping it very thin on my strokes. Loading of the brush will come later on. These are just the first indications. The color blocks. Adding also some white to my yellows to knock it down a bit. And that's also what you see here on the bird itself if you look closely, that there's some white in the mixtures here and there. Very thinly, just dappling it on. want it to be a muted color. With some variations in there, so we want some greens as well. So I'm taking blue, a bit of yellow, a bit more of yellow. Still keeping it quite muted, so I'm mixing it with that gray we got. And maybe a pinch of this color as well, to make some more variations in that background. We have these darker blues. I'm just dabbling it. Maybe a little touch lighter. You kind of see a pattern also on here on the head, so let's try to get that on too. A little bit of white on my brush to already get in some of this, and just rubbing it out because I don't want it to be too bright. Put some lighter values of blue here. And here the feathers are more soft, so we can blend them a bit with what's there. We don't need to have it too dominant there. See, it's a discovery of this bird. You see where the feathers are soft, where they're more firm. It really lets you look with different eyes at every day. Well, this bird might not be that every day, but everyday objects. Things you can see around you in daily life. Just pay some more attention to the beauty of everything you encounter. Trying to redefine the edge here a bit. Just have a try. That can help with aiding us with getting that feeling that we're looking at water in the background. Just making it soft. No hard edges at all. this is all a bit randomly, huh, how I do. Here and there putting it on a bit thicker to create those highlights. Not too thick though, because we don't want it to be too dominating. Just want it to be convincing the viewer that this is a little branch of a twig or something. Also want to see what happens when we mix that phthalo blue with just a little pinch of yellow and then white. Ooh, would you look at that? That's a nice one. Especially for the top of the head. Just dappling it down. Here also. Here's a more bluish version. See if we can put some reflection on his eye. It's a bit too much. No worries. Just go at it with some black. Also tone down. Just by gently going over it. Maybe just one little touch. Little shimmer. So now it's not rubbing it out, putting more paint on the brush. So when I'm doing this, I'm looking at the bigger picture in general, and not per se to all the tiny little details. And when I put a stroke down, I'd love to keep it there, to not meddle with it too much. And cleaning my brush often, just in a tissue. some of these little hairs. The burnt sienna, by the way. Just putting it on a bit thicker. It also lets us get away with not putting too much detail in the legs then. And it's a nice warm approach, I would say, for a bunch of color. I'm kind of mixing both greens together. I like to make a nice reflection in there. On the beak there's also a bit of this blue glow. But it's quite subtle. Just with my smallest brush, refining the pattern a little bit. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. Also, of course, a like would be highly appreciated because that encourages me to keep creating new videos for you guys. And if you want to stay up to date on the most recent content, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Happy painting!